Hi family and welcome to my kitchen. I am Food by Faith Garden to Table, your Zone 8A Georgia gardener and your wonderful, lovely chef of the day. So yesterday and today are my baking days, and today, hush, it's my dog, he's barking at the door. Today I am choosing to bake a quick bread. We are going to bake a sweet potato quick bread. We're going to let him out, guys. We are going to bake a sweet potato quick bread, and what we're going to use is some of our sourdough discard. So I enjoy using sourdough. So sourdough, how do I describe this to you? Sourdough is an amazing thing to have on hand. It is naturally fermented. It's literally flour, water, and a little bit of sweetener. What I used in mine in the beginning was sugar. You can also buy dehydrated sourdough starter from reputable companies like rareseeds.com, or you can go to any of the Mennonite communities and you can buy sourdough starter from them as well. And what you do is you literally feed your sourdough. Sometimes people feed theirs every 12 hours. I feed mine each day. And so in feeding them, I do a 1-to-1. So I'll do either a half cup of flour and a half cup of water, or I'll do a whole cup of water and a whole cup of flour. And you just let it sit and it will begin to bubble up. So whenever you are doing a sourdough discard recipe, so this is all the liquids that I need for the recipe today. And those liquids are honey, a cup of unfed sourdough starter. Again, if you use sourdough that has been just recently fed, it's just fine. Your recipe will have more of a cake-like consistency, which is fine because we're making muffins. We're making sweet potato muffins. We have a little milk and a little oil in here as well. And then I have my sweet potato, making sure that it's nice and drained, because like whenever I use sweet potato or I use pumpkin, I always, if I bake it off, if you boil it, make sure it is nicely drained. If you bake your sweet potato, then you don't have to worry about it because the flesh will be nice and dry. We're going to mix in our dry ingredients, which this time, interestingly, is going to be flour and cornmeal. And we're going to use some baking soda, a little salt, and then of course you guys know that I make my own vanilla. This one right here is, I'm always shaking it up, but this one right here is a vanilla starter. And it's 8 ounces. So if you could see in here, it comes with vanilla beans, so that whenever you get to about right here, you can fill it up with the alcohol of your choice, the spirit of your choice. I use vodka, and then in other ones I use bourbon. So that's how I keep my vanilla going. I have some vanilla from 2021 still going, and that's how your sourdough starter can go as well. It just flows. But I like to work with sourdough because sourdough is good for gut health. If you have a good traditional sourdough, it works very well for gut health because it is a fermented product, and it's a naturally fermented product. Sit that over there. It is a naturally fermented product. It's not something that is artificial. So let's get our dry ingredients going. We already have our muffin tins lined. We have our oven preheating to 425 degrees. So we are going to get everything started. So we're going to use a cup of our flour and a cup of our cornmeal. Again, this is going to give our muffins a different texture, but it's okay. And as you can see, I'm going to mix this by hand because as you've seen me do before, when it's a quick bread, very seldom do I use my mixer with quick breads. We're going to add in a teaspoon of baking soda. And 3/4 teaspoon table salt. I always use Redmond's real salt, so I will use just a little bit less. So instead of 3/4, I'll use a half. I always like to add in a little pumpkin pie spice. It's my favorite. So if something calls for cinnamon and ginger, I usually always use the pumpkin pie spice. And since we are working with sweet potato, this goes very well. You guys know that my most favorite tool to use is my Danish whisk. So we're going to get our dry ingredients all mixed in here. We have our wet ingredients mixed. The only thing that is not in there right now is our vanilla. It's always best to clean as you go. So we are going to go ahead and place our wet ingredients in. You can smell that sourdough, and it's what's causing our batter to bubble up. Guys, I really enjoy sourdough bread. I am working hard each week teaching myself the art of sourdough making, so I'm excited. A lot of items that I have learned to make over the years, I have taught myself, and it's just a matter of constantly working. So I do want to put just a scoop of brown sugar. So it's probably about a tablespoon of brown sugar. Again, we do have honey in the batter, and we are going to top our muffins to give them a nice texture on the top with our sugar and the raw. All right, let's get our sweet potato in. And guys, if you like pumpkin is a good substitute in this recipe for the sweet potato. I like to grow a gourd called a North Georgia candy roaster. So that is something that I also substitute during the winter months. Right now, it's out there growing now, and I'm excited about it. All right, there is our batter. We are going to get our batter into our muffin cups. And guys, in talking about our sourdough starter, if you are a person who bakes very often, any type of breads, pastries, any of the above, keeping your sourdough starter on your counter is just fine, because it's always great at room temperature as long as your house is not extremely hot. If you know that your home is extremely warm, then you don't want to keep it on your counter. You want to make sure you put it in the fridge. And also, if you're not going to use it every day, then it would be better to place it into the refrigerator. So we have our handy dandy ice cream scoop. And we are just going to scoop these muffins into our greased muffin cups. Y'all know my motto, no dough left behind.
Every set has enough cups for 4 players. Oh, we're 11 tonight. 11? Four. Oh my goodness. I can't believe I forgot to tell you. We started at 4, but then everyone wanted to join, so we're 11. I'm so sorry. No, it's okay. It's just like the game. Okay. I'm so excited I bought myself a set of towels so we can use that again. That would be great. Thank you. Do you happen to have a table that we can play with? Oh, I thought maybe we could sit around the dining table. Okay, we'll figure that out. Two tables.
Okay, we have our batter into our muffin tin. So now for a little extra texture, we're gonna top with our raw sugar. So right now, unbaked, you can smell the sourdough and the pumpkin pie spice. It smells really, really good. And this is a very versatile recipe because you can remove the sweet potato and you can add bananas, you can add blueberries, you can add chopped apples. I wouldn't do shredded apples because shredded apples will really too much liquid. But if you decide to shred up your apples, what I would do is I would make sure that they were drained of the liquid first, of that all that juice that they hold. That way your batter is not more loose than it should be. So it's so many options for this recipe. So we got those muffins in there at 425. We're going to let them bake for about 15 minutes, between 15 to 18 minutes, and we'll be back. All right, guys, our timer has gone off. We left our muffins in for about 17 minutes. We are going to do the toothpick test, and we shall see. So I always have these long skewers on hand. You may just have a regular toothpick, but this is what I like to use. So you see how beautiful and shiny they look? And that comes from the sugar that we placed on the top. So the toothpick comes out pretty clean and crumbly. They have a really beautiful color, not only from the sweet potato, but also from the cornmeal. So let's let them cool and we'll see what we're working with. See you back in about 5 minutes. All right, guys, let's take a look. Smells so good. This is the inside. So you can see flecks of the sweet potato. It's not overly sweet because, of course, we used just a tablespoon of brown sugar, and I used about 1/4 of a cup of honey. And then on the top, we put the raw sugar. So that really balances everything out. I love that it's not overly sweet. This will be good for a snack. And you do get the texture of the cornmeal, but it's not a weird taste. And of course, I know that the sourdough starter is in there. I know that sourdough starter is in there, but you don't taste it at all. It just helps. Excuse me. It just helps the muffin to rise. So, guys, again, I absolutely love having sourdough on hand. It's nice and bubbly. I'm going to use it again tomorrow, maybe tonight, to make another discard recipe. But this is wonderful. And the people that are going to receive these muffins tomorrow, I hope that they enjoy them. So, guys, thank you for coming along with me today as we do a sourdough discard recipe. Continue to look out for new videos. I try to get you at least one new video a week on YouTube, but you will see that I post on Facebook at Food by Faith Gardens to Table and at Shaka Thompson every single day. And Natural Exfoliation, I post on there as well. Instagram and TikTok every single day. I post. YouTube once a week. So as always, get up, get out, and grow something and bake someone something sweet.